Let's welcome Kathy Holly and Spotlight.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show tonight. I am so glad to be with you. I have some wonderful guests tonight on Spotlight, and I want to welcome all of you. I'm the host, of course. Kathy Holly is my name, as you know. And if you ever want to be on the show, don't forget to be in touch with PCT. I'd love to have you as a guest. I have some great performing artists, and that's the focus always live music and performing arts. First of all, I'd like to introduce you to Miss Donna Spitzer and then Jan and Andy Dudnick. So, three guests tonight, everybody. I have a married couple. They're still married and they work together. Imagine that. And Donna, who lives in Marin, and both couples live in, both and Janet live in Marin. Donna lives in Marin. They're performing Bay Area artists who, right now, of course, are doing this particular show, which is Zoom. And everybody loves Zoom. What would we do without Zoom? So, Donna, I want to start with you, a wonderful singer, and she's been performing for quite a few years. And Donna, where did you originally come from? New York?
Yeah, I grew up in Queens, New York.
When did you come to California?
Let's see, I came here about 1980, 81.
And how did you get started though in the business? I was looking at your bio and it says that you were in a theater group in New York, which of course would lend itself. I mean, New York is, the theater town.
Yeah, and
So
well, my
did you,
mom, my mom also was an amateur opera singer, and so
oh,
the singing genes were in there always. I just didn't realize them until a little later in my life.
well, and so what would you say if you were in school? Did you start studying music or when did you start?
So when I came to California, I was kind of in a transition job, and I decided I needed something to do with myself. And so the College of Marin had a jazz choir, and I thought that sounds like fun. And it was. The choir director was Paul Smith, who's still around, a really great musician, a great guy, and he had both amateurs and professionals in this choir. And not only was the choir fun, but then I started playing with some of the people who were already in the business and quickly pretty much discovered that they were the really fun people to play with. They were really, really fun. So we collaborated and then shortly thereafter, I was remembering because you asked me, Kathy, I came across a fellow named Jan Tangen who was doing a how to be a professional musician course, like how to get gigs, which was like
Right.
exactly what I needed to know because I knew nothing about that whatsoever. So that was the launch.
Well, that's terrific. And then once you were in the business, did you always have another side hustle? Some people say my side hustle is music, but I'm a professor.
Uh,
I make my money teaching, but my side hustle is something else. With you, were you able to make a living with music, or have you always done something else?
it's always been sort of half and half. My side hustle is also a side hustle to music. So, I'd say both. And what that was also a weekend gig, which was leading personal growth workshops with a team of
Oh,
other people.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, don't you think that ties in perfectly with our profession, music? Personal growth.
Mm, I suppose so. Yeah. I don't think I ever thought about it that way, but yeah, I suppose so.
Well, I'm thinking of how many people, in our business we work with, club owners, musicians, and of course you learn about personalities and all of that. So what is your personal growth business about?
Well, I don't do very much of that anymore. I mean, partly it's because of the pandemic, but I was phasing that out of my life anyway. So my husband's still involved. I have a whole community of friends who are still involved. It was kind of it's an organization called the Human Awareness Institute. And
Oh, great.
Yeah. And it's been lovely, and it's definitely my community of friends, and they were the seed for my first audiences too. So they would come.
Of course, we always want to tell everybody what we do. When I taught music, I try to get the teachers to come, to go out to where I was singing. But I was teaching music and they were teaching all the hardcore, classes. So they couldn't always come, go out on the weekends or even weeknights. When there used to be a business, this goes back though before COVID, when there really was a business of many, many nights a week. And I'm looking at your, part of your resume. It's amazing. You have worked with so many different people in many different venues in San Francisco in the Bay Area. And one of them reminds me of a big memory at Mulhern's
I
in the marina.
say that. That's where we met, I think.
I guess so. I don't know. I was doing afternoon music for Bobby Mulhern. I put the bands together and then I was, of course, performing myself. But I look at some of these venues and I'm saying, oh my gosh, some of them have disappeared, but like the Claremont Hotel, the Sir Francis Drake is still here, I'm sure, the hotel, San Francisco. And then you have two different groups, really, two different, what do I want to say? Tell us about the Full Tilt band.
Well, the Full Tilt Band is now kind of officially defunct, but that was my band that I did probably for 2 decades almost, did a lot of weddings and corporate parties and kind of like that. And then a few years ago, I started a group called Sweet City Blues. Um, I just wanted to play clubs. Everybody around me were people who had played clubs and they'd never really done any of that. And it seemed like a fun thing to do. And so we started um, with a repertoire that was part old time swing and a whole lot of contemporary swing. And the odd thing about that was that simultaneously, I found a swing dance teacher. And then that group of people became my friends and they were also my audience. So we played places that you've played, Kathy, like the Sausalito Cruising Club. And
Yes, I'm a member. I started cabaret nights there or cabaret Sunday evenings. But now, of course, I've taken a hiatus from the club due to COVID. But I remember seeing you as, oh, your band is wonderful. It's so much fun. And in your resume, it said you studied dance, right?
yeah, when I was in college, I was a dance minor. I was a theater major, transferred to an English major, but then I was always a dance minor.
So, but your real love is performing and doing dance music, jazz, blues, all many different styles. I remember that
Yeah,
because theater arts is a whole nother area. And of course, in Marin, there's wonderful theater,
yeah,
small community theater.
yeah. I haven't ever pursued theater again, really, since college. But what we're doing now, like as you said, Kathy, there's not a lot of opportunities for dance bands during COVID. Even before then, I was primarily transitioning to working with a pianist and just doing the jazz standards and other kind of peculiar jazz tunes that I've loved my whole life. I've often said, I should have been born at least 30, 40 years ago, earlier than I was born, because that's the
Yeah.
music I really love.
But it's
And
the best music. It always comes back. I mean, everyone loves, the Great American Songbook. It seems to stick with us for many reasons. So that's great. Yes, and I was just thinking of, well, we should really hear you. How about doing a song? And
yeah,
what do you want to do?
I'm going to do a song that I learned from a Madeline Perot album. It was written by a woman named Ruthie. Oh my gosh, now I'm going to forget her name.
She's a wonderful French singer.
Ruthie Younger. Yeah, right. And Madeline Perot is a great singer.
Madeline Peru. Yeah.
This is my CD with Benny Watson. I'll talk about him a little bit when he plays a solo on the track that I'm playing. I don't think this is going to come across at all, but
No,
that's
that's perfect. That's perfect. We got the idea. And it's all on your website too. So when people go to your website, they'll be able to see that. Yes, why don't you give us a taste of what you do? The show is moving along here and I want to hear the song. So tell us what you're going to sing.
this is called Give Your Mama One Smile. And it's actually pretty
I love
contemporary.
it.
It sounds like an old timey tune. So
Great.
give me a sec. I need to boot this up. And here we go. you, baby, won't tell you no lie. Always want you by my side. Oh, baby, give your mama one smile. Hey, come here, Papa, let's talk a while. You know I love you, don't you realize? Oh, baby, give your mama one smile. I love you, baby, you know it's true. Do anything in the world for you. Come here, Papa, hold me tight. Love your mama, baby, love your mama right now. Smile, don't cry. You know I'll always be satisfied with you. Oh, baby, give your mama one smile. Who you're hearing in the background right now is Benny Watson on piano.
Yes,
Singer, songwriter, composer, all around great guy.
I'm dancing. I'm dancing.
We like to have our restaurant guests dance in their seats too.
Definitely.
I love you, baby, you know it's true. Don't say it's over, don't say we're through. Come here, Papa, hold me tight. Love your mama, baby, love your mama right now. Smile, don't cry. You know I'll always be satisfied with you. Oh, baby, give your mama one smile. Oh, Papa, give your mama one smile.
Bravo, bravo, bravo. Donna Spitzer, thank you so much. I'm going to move right along here to our married couple before we lose the show here. Time flies when you're having fun. Jan and Andy, great to have you on the show. I'm going to start with ladies first. Now, you both are married. Tell me, okay, how did you get together? Number one, in music, through music, or after music?
No, it was through music, definitely. I had jazz was my first, always my first love, and I had been doing some music with a vocal teacher, but I wanted to learn more about jazz singing. And Andy happened to be teaching a class, and I took that class, and then afterwards I continued to work with him. And over the course of a couple of years, we developed a friendship. His long-term relationship broke up, and my marriage broke up. And after that, we got together.
What a wonderful story. And I just want to mention to everybody who's watching us tonight, Andy, of course, is a pianist. He also doubles on bass, tenor saxophone, flute. Did I miss anything, Andy?
That pretty much covers it, Kathy.
Okay. And you teach as well. So
That's right.
now, and Janet, you've been studying vocally and you sing. How about how many, give me an idea of how long your career has been.
Well, I grew up, my father was a musician, and so I grew up with a love of music and musicians in our house, and my parents gave lots of parties, and there was always music in our home, and so I just loved it, and I would, I was in choirs and glee clubs pretty much most of my life, but it was really about 15 years ago that I decided to take it seriously. And once you start doing that, it just sort of takes on a life of its own. And working with Andy has been really marvelous, and so many other musicians, and one thing tends to lead to another. So.
Right, and here you are. And I know I just have to tell everybody when we can all go out and entertain again, you can see, of course, Janet and Andy can be seen in the Marin area and throughout the Bay Area many times in restaurants and various venues. And of course, the same with Donna. But I noticed, Janet, you were born in Ohio. Why did you ever leave Ohio? No, you don't have to tell. I am.
Why, oh?
It says you're the daughter of a
I actually,
professional. You're the daughter of a professional jazz pianist, like you said, an accordionist. So you grew up listening to all styles of music. Come on, we want to hear something that you're going to do. So let's go right into it. You're going to do
okay.
a short number and another one. First one is Groove Yard. And Andy, you wrote the
Right.
lyrics to this, right?
I did, yeah. Just a real quick story
Fantastic.
about that. Real quick story about that, Kathy. Jan and I listen to a lot of instrumental music on Pandora and other music services, and we hear songs that we think would be really fun to sing, and then it turns out there's no lyrics because they were written as instrumentals.
Right.
Sometimes you can find lyrics written by people, but sometimes you can't. So we just said, all right, let's just write our own lyrics and do them.
And it's
Well,
given us
let's
something to do during the pandemic.
Yeah.
well, let's have fun and hear it right now.
Okay.
Groove Yard.
We take our two hearts and meld them close today. The groove yard will show us how to make our way. You got me running and funning all over town, and then I'm moving and grooving till the sun goes down. I get high on your presence, it just makes no sense to miss the groove yard with you. I go playing and saying sweet things to you. I'm never tired or mired in anything new. Just when I'm reeling, I get that feeling to be in the groove yard with you. We take our two hearts and meld them close today. The groove yard will show us how to make our way. I get high on your presence, it just makes no sense to be in the groove yard with you. To be in the groove yard with you. To be in the groove yard with you.
Love it, love it, love it. And together you wrote those lyrics. See, that's so great. You two can live together, write together, sing, work together. I mean, it's so
Yeah,
wonderful.
it is fun to collaborate for sure.
Well, you know what? We've got to do another song right away. And I know the
Okay.
second one is I Thought About You. So go forth.
All right.
I took a trip on a train and I thought about you. We passed a shadowy lane and I thought about you. 2 or 3 cars parked under the stars, a winding stream, moon shining down on some little town, and with each beam the same old dream. At every stop that we made, I thought about you. And when I pulled down that shade, I really felt so blue. I peeked through the crack and looked at that track, the one going back to you. And what did I do? What did I do? What did I do? I thought about you.
Those are just such wonderful songs, and I just want to remind to the audience that you're going to be in the Valentine show coming up. Now, people might see this
Right.
well after February 14th, but it's good to know. And so, Andy, how often? Oh, I wanted to tell everybody you do shows on Zoom for retirement communities, right?
Yes, we do. Yep. Well, before COVID, we played several gigs per month at various Marin senior residential facilities. And of course, everyone's locked out of those facilities now. And just
Yes.
recently, they're starting to bring back some Zoom performances. It's challenging for them because not every one of their residents has the technology to be able to enjoy them.
That's
But
right.
but we're back to performing and we're really enjoying that.
Well, that's wonderful. I know that unfortunately, I was booked for a gig on New Year's Eve, actually in a
Yeah,
retirement community,
right.
but to be singing outdoors with a pianist, but it was too cold and rainy, but then
Oh,
we had to stay indoors. The governor
yeah,
changed it. So,
yeah.
those things happen. But the only thing I have to remember is that I was actually hired to play a Zoom Christmas party. And I mean, this was a first, hey, Kathy, can you create an event, with Zoom for us and 90 members of a club? So that was kind of fun. But I
It
mean,
was
when
fun.
else would you
We were
do this?
Kathy.
Pardon
We
me?
we were a part of that. We were a part of
Of
that, and it
course you
was
were. Yeah, thank you
enjoyed it.
for reminding me. That was Christmas. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh. I mean, I can't believe here we are in February talking about Valentine's Day. That was Christmas. So
right.
this year, that last year has flown, and I guess hopefully this
Indeed.
one will too. But I mean,
Yeah.
that's one thing we can all do. Yes, definitely. And Donna, I heard you, I could see that you said you motioned, you also entertain on Zoom in retirement communities. Do you do that sometime?
No, I was just giving the thumbs up that that was a great thing. I was glad that you two were doing that.
Yeah, and like you said though, Andy and Janet, you probably know. I mean, there are a lot of retirement communities that they can't meet in a big meeting room yet,
Right.
watching a Zoom show.
Right.
And that's part of it. But I think this is a wave of the future for many reasons. And do you teach piano on Zoom right now, Andy?
I do occasionally. I've found that teaching music lessons on Zoom is really challenging. A
I
lot of what I
bet.
try to teach is more hands-on, and it's hard to do, but I try my best.
Very good. So, what are you two going to make as your goal, I guess, after this is over? Are you working on anything special with music?
Huh. Well, how about Carnegie Hall? Would that work?
You
Okay,
know,
Carnegie.
we're just waiting till everyone gets vaccinated and things start to open up again. But we have spent almost a year just adding lots of new music to our repertoire and
Good for
and
you.
and working on things.
And in particular, in addition to the Great American Songbook and bossa nova tunes, which we do, we've been adding a lot of modern jazz tunes and writing lyrics to them. And we hope to
Oh,
be able to perform them for discerning jazz audiences at some point in the near future.
well, that's great. I think that's fabulous.
Yeah.
Andy, I have to ask you about your other career, though, before we finish this
Yeah.
show. If anyone needs a
Okay.
good attorney, can they call you? You are an attorney, but you don't practice anymore. Is that right?
That is correct. I retired 3 years ago.
And what kind of an attorney were you besides being a good one?
I was the kind that's going to put you to sleep if I describe it because it's never shown on TV. I was a business transactions attorney. So if you were buying or selling a business or putting money into a business or doing something related to a business transaction, that would be me. It's not something you ever see depicted in the media because it can be you know uh, not exciting, shall we say?
Right, but do you do things like set up an LLC?
Yes,
Is that what it's
all
called?
that kind of thing. Yeah,
Which
correct,
means you're setting up a business, right?
correct. That is right.
I
Yeah.
never can understand really what that means. I mean, we're supposed to be in a business, and everyone laughs. Ha ha, what you do is so much fun. I mean, is that a business? Yes, it is a
Yes,
business,
absolutely. Yes.
right?
Now, if I answer any more questions about that, Kathy, I have to charge you $650 an hour. So you might not want to ask any more questions like that.
But you're
You never
retired.
know. I might already know the answers to some of them, though,
Yeah,
because
probably.
we already know. I'm sure we know someone who's an attorney. I've had many in my family who are attorneys, but I don't talk about
Yeah.
law with them. But at any rate, it's just
Good to
very
know.
interesting, what you're doing. So, Janet, you're working on music with Andy. Are you doing anything else? Any other side, as we say, side hustle? No, side business?
No, no, I retired 6 years ago from my career, and so we
What
we
was your
just have
career?
we have a passion that we can share. My career, I was a stock trader for an investment management firm in the city.
Wow, Janet, that's
So,
wonderful.
Well, here's what's
well, I'm
interesting.
Gee.
very happy to be retired.
What's interesting about that, Kathy, is that my law office and Jan's office were both in the financial district of downtown San Francisco. And when we first got together as a couple, we would sneak an occasional lunch together because we're only a block or two away from each other.
Oh,
Not in
that's
Marin, but in
wonderful.
downtown San Francisco.
I know it very well because one of the things I've been able to do actually is also tutor English. And until
Oh.
COVID really,
Oh, that's
got pretty
wonderful.
bad, I tutored some employees of McDonald's so they could do employee reviews. And
Oh,
I had a
nice.
lot of fun.
Oh,
And
that's
I used to go,
terrific.
yeah, I used to go down to Front Street, to the McDonald's on Front Street.
Sure.
And I don't
We
even know
have
if they're
McDonald's.
open. But that's the heart of everything. Of course, the big Salesforce building is, it's gorgeous. So
yeah.
I think, if anybody's watching this and they work for Salesforce, I think they should hire all of us. Donna, Janet, Andy, me, and we'll put on a show for them. I mean, that's, because we don't want to have a ghost town. I know that. And hopefully that some of the Marin venues will open up. I guess, Panama Hotel may not happen again, unfortunately. And that was a good venue for many
Yeah.
musicians.
No,
Yeah.
that's sad.
Oh,
Well, it is so great to hear from all of you. I mean, Donna, it's great to see you again because we go back. We go back with Dave Austin days and other musicians, and I know we're all going to work again. But Donna, you hope to maybe be in Marin and Larkspur working at what restaurant in the
Oh.
future?
we got lucky before the last lockdown. We were working 3 nights a week during the pandemic, which is kind of unheard of, at Don Antonio's, which is a really nice restaurant.
Yes, and I was there to hear you. And you work with Benny Watson there as a duo. It was very nice. It was wonderful. And so I don't know, Andy and Janet, what do you have your eyes on because we can dine outdoors now. I think we should just tap all the restaurants. What do you think?
Restaurants, and also I think wineries are going to come back in a big way, and we performed at wineries a lot, so we're hoping that that will come back too.
Yes, I hope so. And you book yourselves pretty much, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So days of agents are kind of they're bygone days.
No
I
agents, and
tell
also no
everybody.
music union either, really, to speak of.
Yeah, well, I'm a member of the local six, but that's okay. But yeah, the unions are quiet these
Yeah.
days. I want to thank you all for being on the show because we're wrapping it up. And just everybody keep music going. That's all I can say. How about you, Donna? Any parting words to musicians? I mean, about music?
About music, it's always here and it'll always come back. I know that. That's why I'm not like going crazy, because we'll all be playing again.
Good. Andy and Janet, what do you say?
Yeah, I second that. I think that anytime you can have music in your life, it's going to be enriched and enhanced, whether you're performing publicly or just at home by yourself or even just listening. So the more the better.
On that note,
I second
paraphrase, I will say thank you again, everybody. And music doth soothe the soul of the savage beast. Happy Valentine's Day early, everybody. And it's great to have you on the show. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Kathy. Bye, Donna.
Hey mambo,
Thank you.
mambo Italiano. Hey mambo, mambo Italiano. Go, 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 you mixed up Siciliano. Are you Genovese to the mambo like a crazy with a hey mambo?